1, engines full power, and liftoff. Go Falcon, go GPS 39.
Elon Musk has pivoted from his ambitious mission to colonize Mars to a more achievable goal, sending humans to live on the moon. The billionaire entrepreneur is now hoping to build a self-growing lunar city in less than a decade. The plan could see his aerospace company SpaceX competing for prime space on the lunar surface, with a research base China plans to establish there by 2035. SCMP China reporter Victoria Bella is here to tell us more. So Victoria, why is Elon Musk decided to shift his focus away from Mars to the moon now?
Yeah, well, so he announced that the company SpaceX was going to be pivoting their focus from Mars, which is a long-standing focus that they've had, to the moon, that they intend to build a city on the moon in the next decade, or it could be achieved within a decade. One of the reasons he said they had a shift in priority is because he was concerned that if something happened on Earth, be it a natural or man-made catastrophe, it could stop supply ships from the Earth to going to Mars, so that could kill out a colony, whereas a city on the moon could be established much quicker to be self-growing, so self-sustaining, and therefore there wouldn't be any concerns about supply ships coming in from Earth. So he didn't abandon the Mars plan completely. They said that they still intend to build a city on Mars and that they intend to start work on that in about 5 or 7 years, but the focus right now and the initial focus will be the moon. One of the other reasons is because launching to Mars takes 26 months because the planets have to align and everything, but moon missions can happen every 10 days or so. So it's a lot faster, it's a lot easier to do, but other people have expressed that it's possible that they've just decided that their Mars ambitions are just a little bit too big for the near future. A lot of other people are focusing on the moon first because it is closer, and also there's a lot of technology involved in setting up colonies, such as self-sustaining life support systems. You need recycling of water, food, you need so many things that we just haven't tested yet, and it makes a lot more sense to test that on the moon, which is a lot closer for us to reach before we move on. So there's he said his priorities are securing civilization, but people have said maybe their mission is just a bit too ambitious for now.
So, but China is also planning to set up a base on the moon. So what do we know about China's lunar project?
Yeah, so the China and Russia-led project, the International Lunar Research Station, is a planned permanent research base that they plan to set up at the moon's south pole, which is a very resource-rich region which could help sustain human life. So they plan to set up the kind of basic functioning station by 2035, and then expand that to a larger long-term station in around 2045 or 2050. Russia has signed on actually to set up a nuclear power plant for that, to sustain that on the moon. So it's an interesting project that also has international partners, but it's been the charge has been led by China and Russia on that project. But yeah, it seems progress is moving along on that project.
So how will Elon Musk project fit in or align with China's, and what does this mean for the ongoing space race between US and China?
It's definitely hard to tell. I mean, the South Pole region in general is probably one that they're both targeting. It seems to be the one that's the most suited to sustain human life. So they could be competing for space there. It's really hard to tell. But in general, the US and China have definitely both been trying to accelerate their progress towards going to the moon. They're both aiming to land astronauts back on the moon for the first time since the Apollo mission ended in 1972, the last one. And that's been something that they've been trying to work towards. So NASA wants to have astronauts back on the moon by 2028 or 2029, while China has said by 2030. And NASA is about to launch a mission that will take astronauts back to the moon's orbit for the first time since the Apollo missions, but they will not be landing then. But both have been really accelerating their progress towards going back to the moon.
So there's so much interest now on the moon. How far away are we in terms of lunar exploration?
Well, with NASA, even though they have said that they want to, reach the moon, have astronauts back there by the end of this decade, their Artemis program has faced significant delays throughout the process, including the launch that they intend to do now in March or April. It's, faced so many delays that it's really hard to tell. But both SpaceX and also Jeff Bezos, the Amazon founder's space company Blue Origin, have been developing lunar capability. So SpaceX is working on Starship, which will be a rocket rocket that could take astronauts to the moon. Blue Origin also has its own lunar program that is in partnership with NASA. So there's a lot of progress in terms of developing the rockets that could take us there. But the timelines are hard to tell, especially with NASA, which has been so delayed. But China now is also developing its capabilities to try to get to the moon. They're currently developing the Long March 10 rockets, which is a class of rockets that they intend to use for lunar missions. They've also developed a new crew vessel called the Mengzhou, which will replace the current Shenzhou vessels that are used to take astronauts to the Chinese space station. And actually, just this week, they actually did the first flight test of the Long March 10 rocket, which was done in conjunction with a abort test of the Mengzhou vessel at maximum dynamic pressure, which is the point of launch in which there's the most pressure on the launch vehicle.
How did that go?
It went really well. Actually, it was a success. So they tested it to make sure that the Mengzhou could separate from the launch vehicle in case of an emergency, and it could bring astronauts safely back to Earth. So that was a success, and it was also a successful test of the Long March 10 rocket. So they're definitely one step closer now to getting to the moon. And the next thing that we could see happen is a full flight test of the Mengzhou and Long March 10 series rocket combination, which could actually happen this year, which is intended to happen this year. And that could actually see them taking Mengzhou all the way to the Chinese space station to dock with it. And that'll be a good test of whether or not this system is capable to pursue further space flight.
Right. Okay. Thanks so much, Victoria.
Thank you.
And for more on our space coverage, visit semp.com.